Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. It's Angela, the Traveling Crafter, and we have a little episode of Prairie Girls Gather, which is a series that we did for over the month of October and into November. You can go back and watch those lives. There is a playlist called Prairie Girls Gather that includes not only the videos that Carol at Crinkle Path and Jonna, the Preppy Crafty Girl, and I did live, but it also includes all of those that had videos that participated and made some Prairie Girls journals of their own. And it's been one of my very favorite series that I've ever done. And I have, I think, 7 or 8 journals that need to be finished. And one of the things that I wanted to do was a waterfall for this Gingham's Katie's Country Store journal. So we're going to do that, but let me show you what I practiced with. Again, I'm busting out that fuse tool, which is this. And if you want to know how exactly to use this, or if you have one and have never used it like I did, then go check that video out. It's on Unique Ephemera and Embellishments, a playlist on my channel. So the first one that I did was for this Gingham's journal, and it is back here, I believe. Here we go. And there it is. So we are going to do clear envelopes. So these all can be taken out and can be used as journal cards. And they are all on this single journal card or journal piece that I realized that I should have cut this shorter because it is in the, I punched through it. So if I wanted to, I could change this, or if whomever gets it wants to actually use this to write on, they can cut it down as well. So there is that one. And then I did another one. I better move this way out of the way. For the Holly Hobby Journal, which I haven't done the cover yet. And it is, gosh, I don't remember, right here. So this one is, it folds out this way, and I just secured these pockets on the top to this double pocket here. So this is kind of what we're aspiring to for the Katie's Country Store. So in order to do that, we are going to need we're going to need, obviously, our silicone mat. I'm using my fuse tool. You can use whatever works for you or whatever you have in your craft room. And I understand some of you don't have this, but I'm addicted to this thing now because it's been in my craft room for, I don't know, 3 years, maybe more, in the package, never unopened. And now I've busted it out. And I think this is my, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4th project that I've done with it. Now I have some of these, this is close to my heart. These were for a scrapbook page. So there are, I think these are 4x6 pockets. Yes, 4x6 pockets. And you would have put this into your scrapbook and then filled it with pictures or papers or journaling, whatever you so desire. And then we're going to need some paper. These are already, I think, 4x6. So let's just put these in here and see if they fit okay. And they do. When you are going to do this, now I need to look and see how long I need my pages to be, because obviously it won't be 12 inches. But those fit nicely. What you probably can't see, let's see if I can put this behind it so you can kind of tell. Here we go. So, oh, you still can't really see it. Where this slit is, there's a space between this one and the next one. So these you would have put paper in here, and then the other paper would have went this way into the page. We need this part because we need to seal, well, we don't need to seal this side, but we need to make sure that it's open. So when we cut, we don't want to cut over into this piece, because I can use those for something else. Actually, I will probably use them for this project. So that's what we're going to go with. I think I'm pretty sure I can just cut this. Yes, I actually marked this. Well, that was really intuitive of me. So we're just going to cut this right here and right here so that it's inside of that. And then I think I'll be okay if I just cut right here so that I can punch new holes in it. I think. So we're going to try that. And then we'll size it up and make sure it fits before we go adding these pockets. Oops. How's everybody doing today? What are you working on? How are your holidays? Are you getting ready for Christmas? I started out strong doing some shopping a long time ago. And I've kind of had a stalemate. Okay, so these are the ones that we'll use to do the top pockets, I believe. And so that should fit fine. And we're going to cut this one. I just don't want to unseal it. So I want to make sure I keep a little bit of that area. Now, this one we can use for that other one as well. All right, now we're at this point. So what I want to do is just make sure this is going to be cinch bound. So in order to make sure that this fits in here, I don't need this all of this, but I want to make sure it doesn't stick out too far. So I'm just going to flip open a page. Oop, don't get that near my. And that is perfect. And it can come about. Yes, I think that will be fine. So I'm just going to cut on this side of this line here. So I did. Well, that's easy. So if you, like me, have a ton of those sleeves, I mean, I have scrapbooks from the time my kids were babies. Truth be told, some of which are not finished. But if you have those, these are the perfect thing to use. So we're just going to cut on this side now of this dotted line. And I know you cannot, I can barely see it on here. I think it's good. All right, there we go. So we have our page. Now what we want to do is we want to, I think I want, how do I want these to flippity flap? I think I'm going to have them flip. I need to think about this for a minute because if I'm going to put the holes here, I don't want it to encumber that. So maybe, do I have enough space? Yes, I do. Since I have these already, these pieces of paper already in here, I can put the fuse right on top of this because it's keeping it from going through both sides. So I'm just going to pull that out so that I know not to adhere it here, and it kind of acts as a barrier. So now really what I could do, I'm thinking I can cut these down. Now I want to cut them down a little bit shorter so they flip easily. So we're going to go ahead and cut the same length, but I want them to slip. I want them to flip separately. So we're going to cut in. We're probably going to go ahead and do another seal here and then put our paper in and then seal it to these. Okay, so to do that, we're just going to cut right below that line that's already sealed the deal there. All right, so now we have that. And then we want to cut, should we do the line first? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and make a line. I'm just going to put this, I know you probably can't see it, but that does help just a little bit for me to see it. And I am going to go, this is why we haven't cut the paper yet, because depending on how big these are, this is going to be smaller than 4x6, so we'll have to remember that. So one of them will be 4x6, one of them will be just a little bit smaller. And I want to make sure, the other thing I want to make sure of is that when they're separated, that they're not going to fall on top, like not flow easily. So I don't want them to hit each other. Okay, I'm just thinking here for a second. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/4 inch, about a 1/4 inch on each end. I'm going to seal it here and seal it here at a 1/4 inch, and then I'll cut against this line. So they should be pretty consistent. So to do that, I'm just going to straighten my, I'm going to move that down, and I'm going to line this up here. So at least that's straight. And then just to make sure that this doesn't move on me, which it will, I'm just going to take a piece of tape and put it there, and another one right here. Now I'm going to go, I'm going to mark it at a 1/4 of an inch. I need a marker. Okay. Oh, it's hard to see with that. Okay, different marker. Let's go with a, I don't want it to be too dark. Come on, Ange. I can't find it. There we go. There's a green one. Oh my gosh. All right, there we go. Loud. Can you see that? Yes. I know there's a glare on there a little bit. That's better. And then I'm just going to go right here. Perfect. Now I can go ahead and line that up. Hopefully it's going to be fairly straight. And we're going to go right here. And I'm going to do this several times because what will happen is I need to, well, maybe I could have just cut it. This is not going to seal anything. It's just helping me to get my lines there, right? So I know where the bottom will be. Okay. I'm just going to do it a couple times. There we go. All right. So now, this is just security, if you will, so that I can cut. I know where my lines are. That does not look the same, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right down the original line that I had. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to go ahead and sear these together, fuse them together, if you will. And this will take a few times. This is a little bit thicker. Plastic, so it might take me several times. It did when I actually put these onto their the other top page. It took me a while. Let's just make sure that's fused together. If it's plenty hot, you shouldn't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure. I'm just going to go here. And it looks pretty good. Now, because I don't want this to hit the other one, I'm going to trim this one down. Let's see if I can do this where you can see it and I can see it. There you go. It's done. Now I want to do the same thing with this one. Very same seal. Like I said, I know it's hard for you guys to see this. It's just as hard for me to see it. And I'm going to go right down there. And I do go off of that sealed, off of the plastic. So I make sure I seal it at the very top. Now Now, if you do it too much and it's really hot, you're going to probably melt the plastic, but we should be okay. All right, now I'm going to do the same. Whoops, check it. Make sure it's sealed together. And it's not. See, there's about an inch or inch and a half that's not sealed together. And that could be just because of my pressure. I wasn't giving it enough pressure. So we're just going to, and I know it's right in there that I need to really give it some love. Let's make sure that did it. There we go. And I'm going to cut this one down too. And ta-da, we have 2 pockets that we can repurpose. So this is, I've done, well, when I was a close to my heart demonstrator, we had these things called flip flaps, and they had a strip of adhesive that you would use, and they work great. I still have a ton of them. But if you don't have those, this is a good way for you to make your own pockets. So I think it's like $30. The link is in the description. It's a good investment. Now, what we need to make sure of is that when we put this onto this page, we're going to want to make sure that the opening is to the inside. And I might even cut it down a little bit just so it doesn't impede on this. And I am going to do that. So I'm just going to take, well, first of all, let me make sure that when I put these on, because I'm gonna adhere this right about here. Am I? Let me see. I can't see it. Yeah, so I'll put it right about there. Let me use that little marker so I can kind of see where I want it. I'm just going to put a tiny little dot there and there. That way I know where I'm going to seal this shut, and I'm not going over that enclosure. That's all I need to make sure of. So with that being said, I'm going to take these with the opening both this way, and I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to say a 1/2 inch. So let's just do a 1/2 inch cut. And again, you know, this will all depend on your pocket size, how big you want them, how big your page is, all of that good stuff. So that's why I'm not giving you too much of a specific measurement, because everyone's will be a little bit different. Okay, those are cut down. They should work perfectly. If you do want to get rid of those little lines like I have here, just take a little bit of hand sanitizer, anything with alcohol in it, and that Sharpie will come right, oh, maybe it's on the wrong side. Well, I say that it will come off. It didn't. Well, that's weird. It might be, oh, it's kind of coming off. Sort of-ish. Okay, so now what I should have is, well, this one's going to be open because I cut it on both sides. So I accidentally did that. So we're going to adhere this one here. And I'm just going to make sure now that when I put this one here, that they're not going to hit one another, and they're not. I want it to be right there and right there. So now I need my tape. Where did my tape go? Right here. So I'm just going to tape that down so it doesn't move, and tape this one down so it doesn't move. And I know that I need to make this line right here. So I'm going to do one at a time. And I'm going to grab my, and all we're doing is we're adhering this pocket to the outside of our larger flippity flap flap. stick down there. And I want, again, to make sure that, there we go. It's moving. Let's just put another piece of tape on it. See, I don't want it like that. I know you guys can't probably tell that, but it's moving. I want it at the top of that, and I want it to be straight. I'm just reassuring myself. Oh, this is so hard to see. My lighting in here is, it's going downhill fast, friends. All right, I'm going to move this up because I'm going to want to make sure that this flips, right? So I don't want it to have it too far away from the edge, because then it won't bend. Hopefully this will work. Now, what I did notice when I did this on the other two is it took a lot more time to actually seal shut. I mean, I went over it a lot of times. And I'm just going to test it. See how we do here. Of course it sticks when I don't want it to stick, and it doesn't stick when I do. Okay, let's just see. Oh, I can already tell it's not stuck down there, so I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna flip this one back, just so it's out of the way. So it's not stuck down here. I could see it. And we'll just, for the sake of doing this, give it a couple extra. Okay, and now it should be adhered, and it is. Perfect. Okay, that one is done. Now I can push this back the way it was. And then we can fill this with a new page. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing here. And I'm gonna make sure it's all the way down. That might bug me to have that there. And once again, I'm gonna make sure that, okay, we're fine. I still have room there. And we're going to do the same thing here. Just want to make sure you keep it on that silicone mat. I hope that I'm in frame, not too far out of frame. I might be at the bottom. And most important is to make sure you are fusing that edge right there. Whoops, I went off a little bit. See how it is. And it looks like it's not sealed. Okay. That's what I said. Like this took a lot more passes in order to get it to seal down than all of the other projects that I've done so far. And that's because I'm going through 3 layers of vinyl or plastic. And this is, you know, just like the plastic. You can buy this on a roll, like at Walmart. It's a little bit thicker, but it's the stuff that you would use to put on your table, cover a table, and it's just clear. So So if you need some of this and you don't have these pockets, that's where you can find them. Okay, now it's sealed. Yay! Oh, no, it's not. That just came undone. All right, back at the drawing board. And again, you just got to have a little patience, something I need to remind myself of often, because you're going through those 3 layers. So it has to go through both of them for this top flap and the top page of the main page. But yeah, if you guys have one of these, tell me, what do you use it for? I mean, I think touched the surface. I don't even know what else I could use it for. I have not tried this little piece. This actually will make a pocket in itself. So if you just had plastic and you wanted to create, like if you went to Walmart and bought one of those, you could sear or fuse your pocket and then make a slit where you want the actual opening to be, which is, whoa, mommy. Which is pretty cool, but I have not tried to use that. If you guys have tried to use that or have had success with it, please tell me. What have you done with it? I'm open to new ideas. Like I said, this is not a new tool. It's been around for a long time. Still, is it? No, it's still not fused. Come on now. Oops, we need to go this way. This just like makes it lay a little flatter. That's why we do it that way. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Well, it still feels hot. I don't know if this thing turns off on its own after a while, so sometimes I just unplug it and plug it back in. Another thing I don't know, so if you do know, let me know. Somebody's making an espresso out there. This is the week of Thanksgiving while I'm doing this video. And I've got the kiddos home. It's so nice. I'm just going to keep doing this for a while. What's the worst that can happen? I cut through it and it melts it, right? There we go. All right, now it's together. And if all goes well, these, oh yeah, there's plenty of room in between here, so these are not going to flip on top of each other. Whew. All right, now the last step before we put it into our, I probably don't want to use this one because I just made lines all over it, but well, maybe I do. Doesn't matter. I'm going to use it anyway. We'll use these two because then that's kind of coordinating with those. Sounds good to me. All right, so now I have to make sure these are lengthwise are going to be just a little bit too long. And widthwise, I'm going to have to just eyeball it because obviously these are not now 4x6. So I'm just going to come in a little bit on each one of them inside of these lines. I want it to clear that with no problem. I'm going to come in just a little bit farther. And I'm going to come in about right there. Let's make sure this one's oh. I think that one will be okay. All right, let's do that. And they might be a little bit different. That's why I sized them up. I think that's it right there. There we go. All right, let's make sure this fits in here before we cut the other part of it off. There we go, and then we'll mark it and then cut off that in just a second. All right, let's do this one as well. And put that piece to the side. And we will have finished our project. Well, almost. I got to cut those two other ones. Oops, I feel that is not sealed right there. Dang it. All right, let's mark. Let's cut those off. I'm just going to do that right here real quick. So that will fit in there, but I'm going to have to reseal this side of it. Oops, I just dropped that in the garbage. There we go. All right, those are ready, but I'm going to seal this back up. And I can see on that line, that's where it needs to be sealed. So, get my shoot. Just want it to be right on there. There we go. I think I'm going to turn it around this way. It's easier for me to do it that way. There we go. You may have to play with this a little bit. This is probably the hardest project I've done as far as getting it to work well, just because it's so many layers. There we go. All right, so it's going to go in this way, and we'll put this one here. Now, the other thing that you could do, if you don't have one of these fuse tools, not to worry, you could always sew them, right? That's what I did before. So there's always that opportunity as well. Now, this is done, and I see that that part did not seal either. Better to find out now than to find out later, right? It's just a little piece of it. And like I said, you want to make sure that that part right at the top seals, because you're going to be pulling stuff in and out of it. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Now this is ready, and we can just find a spot in here. And then when I cinch it together, it will all be ready to rock and roll. But how easy was that? Just a little bit of patience, because like I said, this takes a little bit longer to put together. So there we go. And those are all, I like how that looks. And this is ready to be bound. So there you have it, friends. Easy, very easy little fused pockets. And I hope that you enjoyed that. And come back again next time. We're going to continue to work on these. We're almost at the home. Well, we are on the home stretch of finishing them all up. I need to add some embellishments and pick some things from my pre-made ephemera. And then I think we're ready to bind everything together. So until next time, friends, remember to take time to just be. I'm really glad that you're here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like or a thumbs up. We'll see you next time. Cheers.